Hello everyone and welcome to another BAE live stream. Today we've got Power Surge. We're going to be going through kind of how you got into crypto art, covering how to effectively sell art, advice for artists, and then going on a little cryptovoxels tour towards the end. How are you, Surge?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. It's a good day, Thursday, The week is almost over.
Yeah, getting towards the end.
For the ones, yeah, for the ones who have weekends. I don't have weekends.
Yeah, no, me neither.
For
It's
me, it's
kind of all
like,
merges.
for me, it's just, yeah, like a stream. I guess it's a good thing if you're doing what you like, I guess.
Yeah. So, so what? So let's start kind of at the beginning. And it's the first time I've done an interview without it's not been like a dedicated artist, so it'll be a little bit different. But so just kind of who are you and how did you kind of get to this point in your life into crypto and all of that sort of stuff?
Into crypto, yeah. I discovered crypto, actually, my cousin told me about it. And it was a way for us to get marijuana. And it was through kind of like a darknet times because it wasn't legalized in Florida back then. I kind of figured out, Googled my way through it. Yeah, discovered Bitcoin. I'm like, whoa. It was nice. It was very fascinating for me. It was 2013, and I kind of was familiar with the money industry in the past, and I was interested in economics. So the concept of Bitcoin was like very fascinating for me. So that's how I discovered crypto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but what about yourself? How did you? So, what were you doing before you came into crypto? I've got some pictures actually of you on the
Yeah,
site that you
yeah.
sent me. The one up at the moment is you as a real estate
Yeah,
agent. Yeah.
you can pick one. Yeah, anyone. So yeah, the real estate agent, yeah, that was me in Montreal. When well, I'm from Russia, so I went to school in Russia, and like I worked a little bit on the TV news station there, and then I immigrated to Canada, where that's where my dad lived, and I kind of like couldn't do journalism, and I started looking for other careers and something that was um, kind of like fascinating because I started like trying to do like self-help books. I started to read like how can I improve myself, what kind of things that I can do. I was like, in my 20s then. And real estate was sort of like a thing that I heard is good. So I kind of started learning it. And I did courses on real estate. I read books, and it felt like a good progression for me to try do become a realtor. I didn't like I studied like on a license. You had to take a course, study real estate financing, some legislation, basics, and yeah, I was a realtor for Remax
Mhm.
in a small suburb of Montreal called La Prairie. Yeah,
So,
so I was able to make three transactions, three sellers, actually no, six transactions, three sales and three buys. Like, when you're a listing agent or you're a buyer's agent.
so you wanted
Yeah,
to
but it
be a
was tough.
journalist? Is that
Huh?
right? Before that, before you got into real
In
estate?
Russia, yeah, I was.
Yeah.
There was a part in between. In Russia, I was a journalist, but when I immigrated to Canada, I couldn't really do journalism because of like a language barrier, I think. So I kind of started looking for other careers. I worked as a waiter for several years, and I was selling things. I was selling merchant services. I was selling white label ATM machines. I don't know if you have those in the UK.
No,
So
yeah.
yeah, just kind of pursuing the sales career basically because it doesn't need any education.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, this is lower hanging fruit. Let's just do that. See where it goes. Also, I read this Rich Dad Poor Dad by Kiyosaki, and he was saying that if you want to do well, you kind of need to learn how to sell. So I'm like, okay, maybe I should just do that.
Yeah.
So
So
started doing real estate, man.
you worked at Tramp, is that right? When you were doing the waiting thing?
I'm
Uh,
sorry, could you say it again?
so you worked at the private members club Tramp, is that correct? Or I don't know. The image you sent me said that. I'm not sure if that's the same place I'm thinking of. No.
Tramp. I'm not
Oh no. Okay.
sure.
Sorry. I.
That the picture that you have right there. This is me. I'm a waiter in Tampa.
Oh, Tampa.
Uh,
Okay.
in yeah, Tampa. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
no, not Tampa.
You left me with
Tampa.
reading
I live in
Tram's a
Tampa,
private
Florida
members
right now.
club in the UK. I thought maybe you'd popped over there.
Oh
No, so
no.
you you've always had a history of selling. So the real estate, do you still do that now, or have you kind of moved on from that?
No, no, I don't. The only real estate I do probably is cryptovoxels. That's kind of real estate. But I'm not flipping.
Yeah.
I don't know. Flipping is tough. I'm having difficulty of selling.
Yeah.
Like, if I pick a NFT or like some parcel, oh man, it's quite addictive. It's like crack. I don't know. It's like selling piece of you. So I'm having difficulty of doing that. I haven't flipped anything.
Yeah.
I just like, you know, would buy and would start building there, and I kind of learned the neighbors, the neighborhood. I'm like, oh man, I don't feel like selling. So
I
it's
quite
kind of
like this
tough.
neighborhood now. It's,
So yeah, that's my doing real estate, man,
yeah. So are you full
so to speak.
time in crypto now? How did that come about? Because you worked at Block One, is that right?
Yeah, after sales, well, after real estate, actually, I the thing about real estate, what brought me into my next phase was if you want to do real estate well, you kind of had to learn marketing. And I learned quite a bit of marketing while doing real estate. And then a friend of mine said, "Hey, well, if you know marketing, maybe you just, if your real estate career tanked, which it did, um, you can just do marketing." So I started doing internet marketing, like managing paid advertising campaigns. They call them banner networks and pay-per-click campaigns. Also, search engine optimization. I kind of worked at the company doing that, and I discovered software engineering. Like, cause we had software engineers in that company, and I kind of talked to them. I'm like, huh, that's what you guys doing. I kind of was gravitating towards maybe trying that as a career because marketing was a little boring for me, and it's kind of like, you know, once you figure it out, it's mostly just experimenting. So I decided to learn programming. I learned software engineer. I went to do mobile on like Apple platform. I enjoyed using Apple products, so I just decided to download Xcode, learn how to do programming. And it was not that bad for me because I was programming back in high school. Um, so I kind of picked it again. Yeah, started just, little by little, worked in several companies. And Block One was the last one where I had like a engineering job. We had like scrums, and you work in a team. You like, sit in front of a computer and code like whole day, essentially. I was more doing user interface on like on mobile.
So so you when you were in Russia, what level did you leave school? Because I think it's really impressive that you're almost completely self-taught.
I'm sorry.
Sorry,
Could you say?
no. So when you were in Russia,
Uh-huh. Yeah,
what kind of level of education did you get to before coming to Canada? Because it seems like
yeah.
you're completely self-taught, which is it's really impressive.
Oh, thank you, man. I I did high school, and then I did university, and university was in journalism. Honestly, that university kind of was. I mean, it was a great university. It's actually a really good one. But looking back, I'm not sure if I learned that much. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just the discipline. Journalism wasn't like that much. Like, that much you need to learn. We're mostly studying literature. and language. Maybe a little bit of like journalism ethics, maybe exposure to the industry. We did a lot of like practicing, visited major like studios and had to do like journalism work, like reports. But yeah, maybe that's what kind of like maybe because it wasn't technical, I kind of was a little kind of maybe disappointed that in level education. So since then, I'm like, man, if that was really good school, if I want to learn something, I can just pick a bunch of books and learn it.
Yeah.
Especially in software. Software, uh, it's kind of discipline that is so rapidly evolving. There's new things all like every day. When I was working in the Block One, we did a lot of collaboration with Virginia Tech, which is kind of like a technical university in United States in Blacksburg, and I worked with students as a part of like a capstone project, which is kind of the last year of their engineering degree. And they would pick a project and they would say, okay, let's form a team and just build it. And I was just talking with those students about their project, like how they would do things, just kind of like guiding them a little bit. And I kind of figured that, in school, even Virginia Tech, they teach like C++, they teach Python, and they teach Java. I was fascinated they don't teach JavaScript,
Hmm.
which is a fundamental language for the internet of today. And all the students had to learn it by themselves. And I'm like, man, this is what education is. Just learn it, except probably if you're going into law or in medicine. It's very highly regulated government, kind of like a.
Maybe not in
Uh,
the US. You can maybe get away with being a lawyer without any training, but I don't think many other places.
I don't know, man. You still have to pass the bar,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
But
think.
you don't have to go to school, right? That's the only difference. You can just kind of do it yourself, I think.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I think you just have to pass. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure in the US you only just have to pass the bar, and then that's it. You're a lawyer.
Good to know. Yeah, man. Good to know.
Worth checking out. So you ended up in the US now. How did that come about? Are you there now, or are you still in Canada?
No, I'm in the US. I've been living here for 8.5 years. I lived in Canada in Montreal for another actually 8.5. It's almost like
Oh, nice.
exact same time.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I spent in Montreal. Yeah, that's where I was a realtor. That's where I was doing some odd jobs, like learning language actually, a lot of it. I first 2 years I actually spent just learning um speaking French actually most of the time. I spent like almost 2 years going to language school every day from like 9:30 to like 12:45. In the morning I would go to school, and afternoon I would go I worked at a gas station. So I would practice French and no, talking to customers, serving them, punching like stuff that they would buy and like, some gas, whatever, having a small talk. That's I think important in picking up language, and I think that's what also helped me to learn programming because it's essentially learning language. Programming, it's quite of engineering, but it's more of like you just learn a foreign language. Like I don't know, you're picking up Spanish and you just picking up JavaScript.
Yeah, no, I
It's kind
agree.
of like
I totally
very
agree.
similar.
I learned a bit of Python. Nothing more complicated than being able to make a fancy calculator. But but I've been learning Japanese, and it is a very similar concept. You're just replacing meanings with different things. Um, so
Yeah.
what's the okay? So you work for Block One. Am I correct in saying that Block One is the EOS Foundation?
Yeah, it is. It is. They raised like a ton of cash in 2018, from 17 2018. Yeah, and they're just developing products, mostly ESIO blockchain. It's open source blockchain that anyone can take and spin up their own chain. I think just like Ethereum, you can just pick it up. Yeah, and Block One, like I was in blockchain like in like 2017 and 18 and like in a previous bull run. So I kind of was very interested in Dan Larimer's ideas, how he approached um, technical solution, because I was a programmer and kind of like saw limitations of Bitcoin, and then I saw how Ethereum improved and made another kind of like evolution of blockchain. And then I saw EOS, which is another step in evolution. So I'm like, man, Dan looks like he knows what he's doing, and that's his third project after BitShares and Steam. So I no, I went to the hackathon actually in Hong Kong with my friend here from Tampa and some other guy from Ukraine. We just, made a game, and I did like a um, blog post and kind of checked out the team, like what a use is about. And a few months later, I received an email from a recruiter, like he was recruiting for Blockone as an iOS engineer. I was working as an iOS engineer back in Tampa. I'm like, maybe I can just apply. Why not? I did, and I got in. And I had to actually move to Blacksburg, and I spent one year and a half, I think, in Blacksburg, Virginia, working for Blockone, and it was a great time. I learned a lot. Um, I learned mostly because it was a larger organization. We were working on a lot of products. It was great to see team collaboration, because my biggest company before I worked was like 14 people. Engineering team was like we were 5 iOS engineers and like a Python engineer, so maybe 10 people, right? In Blockone they had, I don't know, like 30 or 40. So it's a larger collaboration. I saw different, like more of like how projects are built, and how how this larger organization is functioning. So it got me exposed to a lot of techniques like Scrum, collaboration among other teams. Yeah, I enjoyed working with students at Virginia Tech. It was very very educative,
Mm.
fascinating time. I enjoyed working there.
Oh no, that's
That's how I got into Blockone.
so. Kind of leading into that, what blockchain do you think has the best future?
I mean, certainly Bitcoin. I think this is the chain that will outlive anyone. Um, and now I think all of them, they have their like niches, sort of their problems they're focusing on solving. Ethereum is older. It has a fantastic community. It has consensus, which was a great way to introduce um, Ethereum to the world and to the corporate world in America. It had a very good kind of like an office and incubator in Brooklyn. So they did really well in exposing Ethereum into the world. But I think limitation of technical limitation of Ethereum is actually showing it right now. And I like EOS, for instance, is kind of like it's technically better, but it has its own drawbacks because it's only 2 years old. It's not like it doesn't have that time of community kind of like getting exposed to it and getting development. And Ethereum was I believe the first programmable blockchain. So EOS was just after that. It was like there's a bunch of them right now. So EOS is just one of them. But I think technically it's certainly vastly superior. But despite that, it's just not.
It's not always
It's
what
not
matters,
that
though, is it?
popular.
In the end, I guess we would all be using Xanadu if we were using stuff that was more technically superior instead of HTTPS.
Yeah, exactly. It's just something that was there at the right time and the right place, and people just started using it, and that's it. It's just how it goes. So I feel like all chains will eventually kind of be together, so to speak, because right now it's not possible to do inter-blockchain communication because it's technically limited. Like in Ethereum, you can't lock a token right now. Like ERC20 or 721, you can't just it's you can write your custom contract and lock it. This way you can have a proof that has been locked to use that in other chain. So this way you can just move the liquidity from one chain to another. But as I understand, Ethereum 2.0 design is the Ethereum as we know right now will become kind of a beacon chain where it will host all other versions of the chain that will have their own little part of a picture, like sharding. But you have to be able to move tokens from one chain to another. So that part is not implemented yet. But once it is, and it has to be done for Ethereum 2.0 to work, I think the liquidity will start moving a lot more amongst chains, because it wouldn't matter to move, like, let's say NFT from Ethereum to another Ethereum chain, or from Ethereum to, I don't know, Link or EOS. It would make essentially be the same thing. You just pay the same gas.
Yeah.
So I think that will happen in 2022, I guess. But that's my problem with Ethereum, man. I mean, they made a choice to Ethereum documentation is really good. Like they have really good tools like to develop, and they have really good documentation. But they didn't really work hard on their engine, like the database engine. That's what makes it faster, I guess, and moves it to Ethereum 2.0 and does this all upgrades. Where I worked at EOS and I know what they were doing. They were doing the opposite way. They were evolving their engine really, really hard, like the core technology, but their documentation is not that great. Like programming environment is like so it's a trade-off, With Ethereum, we have a lot of developers who are like know how to develop, but just the engine is old.
Yeah.
But it's hard to it's like you're on the fly. It's like you're flying already. You launched, and now you try to swap an engine on the fly.
Yeah.
Like how easy is that?
Yeah.
It's hard, man. So
I mean,
that's
so,
what we
we
have,
had
man.
some question. Apparently, NEAR,
Sure,
NEAR. I never know if it's an acronym or pronounced as it looks.
sure. That's cool.
Is NEAR implementing cross chain connectivity? Have you heard of that?
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, cross-chain or inter-blockchain communication. Yes, it's essentially moving. Yeah, like token, Ethereum, or and anything essentially from one chain to another. You could do it right now, but you have to implement like on your own contract specific code that freezes the token, and you use the Merkle tree from that freeze on other chain. Or on other fork of Ethereum, or on EOS, or anything else. So, but that's not implemented on a system contract. System contract means like if it's implemented on a system contract, everybody will have it. But now it's only if you want to write your own thing, you can write it, and you can also implement it in your own personal way. But there will be like a systematic way. Okay, all contracts now will have this feature, and once that happens, the inter-blockchain communication will start actually happening. And it has to happen because this is a part of the Ethereum 2.0 design.
Yeah.
It has to happen.
So I might be being really stupid here, but is there any way that you can see fixing the short-term gas problem? Like, for instance, I know they've slowly been decreasing the mining reward. Do you think putting the mining reward back up would incentivize more people to mine on chain, which would then make it at least run a little faster. That's my incredibly untechnical.
Yeah. I guess you could. I mean, Vitalik is saying that there are some things that you can do. You can essentially move away the load from the chain and increase the throughput of a transaction, where you can just store a very minimal part of a transaction on the chain itself. That would increase like a transaction per second, but still, the architecture of the chain itself doesn't have scalability architecture. It's like the hole is it's not going to increase the hole. It's just the amount of stuff that you have to put in it is just going to get thinner. You know what I mean? That's how I'm saying. Ethereum 2.0, that's the main architecture of it. It says that let's just split the whole chain into a bunch of different pieces. That's significant. Like this is incrementally like larger scalability solution. Making the whole the same and just make the transactional thinner. Yeah, I mean it sounds like a patch.
Yeah.
But it is what it is, man.
They're gonna have to do something quick, right? Because 2 years is a long time to wait. If this continues to get worse, if Uniswap insists on basically taking over Ethereum.
Oh man, I know, but I don't think it's their. I mean, I think they knew what they're doing, man. Cause we had a crypto winter. Like, what has been done in crypto winter by Ethereum? I don't know. Do you know? I don't know. I haven't seen anything like significant. Like they knew that the bull run will be coming, and they knew that the activity will speed up. But I don't know. It's just it's. But I'm criticizing, but it's hard. It's probably really really hard. You need to get all the miners on board. Plus, when you're switching from proof of work to proof of stake, you're essentially creating a whole new chain. It's like you're almost launching a game.
Yeah.
Like it's completely different algorithm, and people say that
billions at the same time in people's funds, right?
I'm sorry. What do you?
So I mean, if they make one mistake, they could potentially lose people billions of dollars. So I guess you've got to be quite careful in the way that you approach it.
Yeah. Yes. Plus, I'm thinking more of in terms of the miner's perspective. If you're a miner, if you're a miner right now, you are getting a nice income, right? And you have a whole bunch of those graphics cards. Once they switch to proof of stake, you don't need mining anymore. It's like all of your cards are going to be switched on to something else. So the block producers will completely be different. It's going to be a completely different game. There will be stakers, and it's not necessarily going to be the same people. So it's like changing the rules of the game significantly. And how is that going to go? I don't know. And maybe that's why they're not trying. They don't want to switch the engine yet. I don't know, because it's kind of tough. Because you have those balance of those interests, like miners and users and I don't know, investors. The beauty of it is so decentralized, kind of parties don't know each other and there's incentives for one to do the other.
Yeah.
But definitely, if you're changing the rules in a significant way like Ethereum 2.0 will, I'm sure it will have some things that we can't even think of.
Do you think it might result in a lot of the miners, because the mining equipment is quite specific for Ethereum, isn't it? They might have to move to Ethereum Classic. That might see a bump.
There are still chains that miners can do. If you have equipment, you have a choice. There's a ton of them still to do mining. I'm sure they will not lose their jobs. It's just I'm sorry, their business, but um, I don't know. I mean, honestly, I'm not a miner. I don't know. I don't know what are they thinking. I don't know.
Um, okay,
So
so let's move a little bit into the crypto art section. So
sure, yeah, yeah,
who are your favorite kind of artists in the space?
yeah. I have a list here, man.
Okay, cool.
All right, Mahara, man. He's doing fantastic. Suryanta Sur, a good one. Space Painter, I like it. MSP40, I Can Has Crypto. Basically, Rari Gang. Rob Ness is doing good stuff. Even Max Osiris, actually.
Yeah.
He's doing well. He's a strange person, but he's doing what he
I
has to
think he
do.
drinks because I had him on the other day. And he's such a sweet guy when you meet him in person. If anyone watched that video, it will give you a completely different perception to his
I
Twitter.
saw it.
Yeah,
I
his
saw
Twitter
it.
persona is very different to his real life persona.
Yeah, I feel like he's a Kanye West who has like bipolar. It's like 1 minute he's like one person, then he's like, oh,
Yeah,
I'm a different person now.
yeah,
I'm nice.
yeah.
I'm evil now. Hey, man, fuck you. So I don't know, man. People do whatever they want. I kind of like crypto art about the part of crypto art that is kind of so wild that just no rules and people get offended though. But
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm. It is what it is, man.
Yeah.
I
I think you
don't know.
gotta not take Twitter too seriously. There's no way you can
That's
actually
true.
tell
That's true.
anything
That's
about
for sure.
anyone. Yeah, when you look at that tiny little tweet, it's not going to tell you anything about someone's actual personality. They could be drunk. They could be
Yeah.
having a terrible day.
Ye-
There's a million things that could be going on behind the tweet.
100% yes. Not taking it seriously, I think it's a fantastic advice to anyone because it's a farce, man. It's a show, and art is advertising, right? Category?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
no, sorry, not advertising. Entertainment. It's
yes,
entertainment category, right? Like media, like TV shows, like it's a show. So just think of
enjoy
it
the
as
show.
a show. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm trying to think of it as a show. Like it's sort of like a reality show for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, whatever. It's
So,
just like,
what made you kind of decide that you were gonna, I guess, come and shill crypto art in the way that you do and do? Because I love your videos. I think they're fantastic. But what kind
oh,
of
thank
brought
you,
that
thank you.
idea around?
Yeah, well, um, I I was like I honestly was kind of examining, like maybe relating to like a midlife crisis. So I was examining my life, and all of my life I was doing things either like for money, either for like some uh, to get respect from other people that thought it was cool to do, or I was just listening to others, and there was always some monetary aspect to it, and I was more like reading like psychology and philosophy, and this philosophy kind of like I tried to gravitating to is that chasing money is not gonna like make you happy, and that's kind of a true. Like I mean, I had good salaries. That's fantastic. Um, but I decided to give it an experiment and try doing something that I truly enjoy. And there were several things actually I would truly enjoy too. Like I like building things. I spend quite a bit of time in cryptovoxels. I I tried making music. I tried rapping.
I'd love
Didn't go that
to
well.
hear some of that one.
I'll hit you up with some link,
Yeah,
man. Um, I tried, trading, trading cryptocurrencies. And I tried making videos. So while doing that, I kind of like I would free up my time and I would think of like, what would I start doing first? Like, if I wake up, I don't have to do anything. Like, what would be the first thing I would start doing? Like, that's probably going to be an indication what I'd enjoy doing the most. So I kind of figured like I maybe should start doing those posts. And first started doing posts on Instagram about crypto art. Why crypto art? I mean, because I was a fan of NFTs. I liked crypto kitties. I was in crypto kitty game in like 2007, since 2017.
Were you pre the
Um,
huge sales or post the huge sales?
Post a huge
Post. Okay.
sale.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you didn't get caught up in the mentalness, because I still don't think we've quite
I
killed
mean,
the crypto kitty, have we?
yeah. Post the whole, but not really. I was still like, I bought a ton of Gen Zeros still, and I was paying like $100 for like them. So now they're like 25, I think 30. I don't know. Actually, I don't know exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was collecting Gen Zeros. I was collecting fancies. I was collecting different traits, rare cats, and I would try to make a like um, sort of like an income out of it. I would put them all for sire, which means like you kind of rent out your cats for
Yeah.
others to breed.
Yeah. That's a polite way of saying it. Is that you rent them out?
Yeah, I put all my. I have like seven or 800 cats. They were all for sire, and I would hit like maybe several of them every week whenever they have chases. So I'm kind of was I like the idea of NFTs, and art came about kind of with the same kind of a concept. I went to uh, New York's NYC NFT conference in February this year,
Yeah. Yeah.
and yeah, kind of like check out the crowd. What was yeah, and I've kind of discovered crypto art. I think from there, I have discovered actually first Avastars from Jimmy.
Hmm.
I have like Avastar founder, and then I got into going to work in progress meetups in cryptovoxels, and that's when I discovered crypto art.
Hmm.
So I was listening to podcasts like "You Deserve a Drink" with Matthew and Rizzo, and yeah, that's how I kind of got exposed to that, and I just started to see what art is about, and yeah, I started kind of doing small posts on what were the top crypto art sales first on Instagram, a little bit on Twitter, and then when this kind of drama started with trash art, not necessarily at the peak, but I felt like maybe doing some educational videos on what a trash art, what is um, who is a whale shark, because I felt like maybe that it might be useful to some other newcomers or like
I think trash
artists.
art's one of the most fascinating things to happen in the whole space. It was one of the most
Really,
organic
yeah.
kind of movements, and it was something completely new. Like I guess it's like digital found object art in in a sort of strange way, but it's definitely nicer to look at than most found object art. I think that's quite exciting. I mean, what do you think about trash art as a whole?
Yeah, I think it is a kind of well, the concept of this trash can is came about from to me it represents kind of liberty of thinking in a way, and rebel being a rebel, so to speak, against the system, whatever system is, or whoever is not agreeing to certain things. That's why I kind of like blockchain. It's kind of like free and non-regulated.
Yeah.
I mean, countries try to regulate it, but
But it's
uh,
pretty hard. It's they're playing a game of catch up all the time.
yes, totally. And I think that's what kind of unites all of those businesses that are being built on top of blockchain is economically they're global. Like there's no jurisdictions, there's no like some banks that settle you. There's no like taxes. Technically, you have to pay them, but not at the time of sale. And there's just no intermediary. There's just like holding your hand. So in that sense, it's more liberal, like free way of like whatever you want to do, what you can do. Like Uniswap put up the contract, it's working
Yeah. Yeah.
perfect. So yeah, it's that liberty. I think that's what represents the trash art, and also it looks fresh to me too. Like, I mean, if I would look to traditional art, I I mean, I'm not an art expert, to be honest. I'm just like, uh, observer.
No, but you are. I mean, I've been in art my entire life, and I'll tell you that there is nothing to it. They pretend. Everyone, art world's just a bunch of people pretending that they know more about
That they
something than
know.
someone else. If you don't get it, you don't. It's not art to you. That's literally all there is to it.
Yeah, yeah, I guess so. I guess so. You're right. You're right. Yeah. So, and I felt like when I was working I kind of wanted to get back into videos and doing videos as I used to do as a journalist
Well,
when I was
I
working
to
back in Russia.
skip back a little. I've got a picture of you you in drama class, and I was curious how that
Oh
kind of
yeah, yeah, yeah,
plays.
sure.
Yeah, how that played into now, and whether that's like a passion that you wanted to bring back, or yeah.
Oh yeah, that's why. So that picture is the me doing the drama, like playing in the play. When I was in high school, I had a fantastic drama teacher who would get students together and would put together plays, and we would play like classical plays from some, I don't know, 19th century, or like, I don't know, from like Shakespeare, for example. And that kind of he would pick like students from different classes to kind of as actors, and I got lucky. So I got picked. So it kind of taught exposed me to stage at their, like, when you're a teenager, and I didn't have so it helped me to overcome that stage fright, I guess, and also pointed me towards art, and that's why I became actually a journalist. In fact, because I was studying more in a like a nerdier class, I was more studying like math and physics. But I got exposed to art, and I'm like, hey man, it's actually quite fun. A
Yeah.
lot more fun than doing science. So that's what made me to go to journalism, and that's what kind of like opened me up to this possibility of doing art. And I really enjoyed comedy. In my class, me and my friend would laugh a lot, like cracking jokes. We're kind of like clowns
Yeah.
of the class. So it kind of like went together. So yeah.
No, I
uh,
found that too. I used to be into drama, and I found all of the things that you
yeah,
learn, they're incredibly useful in everyday life. People wouldn't think it, but acting
yeah,
is an incredibly useful thing to learn, just for meetings, for everything.
100%. Yes, yes. Um, it helped me being a journalist too, a good journalist, because you would kind of like, mm, like older you are, harder it is to get to learn things. But if you were exposed to them like early age, you kind of like, if you don't practice, you still kind of can kind of have that, take that skill, and like, okay, you can just continue improving it. But if you compare it to average person, you kind of already a little bit more advanced. So it helped me in journalism
And
very much. So yeah.
so,
So when I was doing journalism,
yeah, yeah. No, sorry, go on, go on.
when I was doing news, biggest problem with news, I was doing like a news at a local TV station in my like a hometown, and the biggest problem was that the news were boring, man. Like really, like there's like guys patching holes in the road. There's like picking the paint for the fans. Like, some stuff happened. Like, I don't know, in the hospital, that kind of stuff. And you're like, Jesus Christ, man, this is just boring. So when I was trying back to my videos, I'm like, hey, maybe I can just do news about art, because art is a lot more fun than just those boring news. And yeah, kind of. I also had my evolution there too. I'm like, I started with like starting to do, maybe try to do news,
Yeah.
but then I lean more towards comedy. And I don't know what I'm gonna continue doing in the future. It's just like kind of like evolving project, so to speak. And yeah, I try not to even think of what I want to do. What is the format? I'm just like trying to do whatever
Whatever kind of
whatever
as it comes, right?
I yeah, whatever I feel, and I have a feel response from the audience, and whatever it just comes out better, I guess.
Yeah. Well, no,
Just
I
kind of
really
like,
enjoy your
trying
videos.
to
I think
find
a
your
lot
way.
of people they're the highlight of people's
Thank you,
day.
man.
Do you
Thank
launch
you,
them
man.
every day, or are they weekly, or how's the schedule work?
Every day, yeah. I saw this video on YouTube where artists actually talking about like a lesson. He said he was working for other, so it's a like a video of an artist. He's saying he worked for other artists who was successful, and he asked that successful artist for an advice, like how do I become a successful artist? So that successful artist said, dude, what's your problem? One day you want to write a drawing, second day you want to write a song, third day you're on a poem, and fourth day you want to make a sculpture. He says, pick one thing and do it for a year, but every day. So he's like, huh. So he actually went out with the advice, and he picked drawing, and he would draw same thing every day. And he started to realize that while he was doing that thing every day, he was just getting better at it, and he would evolve that thing he was drawing. He picked a bird. He was like drawing a bird, but every day it would make the bird would have a different story. It would be a character in some I don't know, in some situation, and it would be a uh, funny situation, and he would just start posting it on Instagram, and it eventually evolved in the character, and he started, I guess, making like some comics, I think,
Hmm.
with that bird, and that's how he found his way. So I'm trying to do it every day for the same sake, because you gotta practice every day. If you have to do it every day, you like, you know, it's stress on one side, but at the same time, I guess it makes you better.
Yeah.
It's like working out every day. I mean, I've been working out. I started working out like 3 times a week, then four, then five, and for the last year, I've been working out every day, and I think it's fantastic. I think doing something every day has a lot larger impact than people may think.
Yeah, just keeping it up, making sure that you keep things up because I've noticed that if you take a break for a few days, like an elongated one, you suddenly feel it's harder to get back into it, and you lose a lot of the skills you've gained almost immediately.
Yeah, yeah, and there's some bad days too. Like you're stressed. There's something happened in your life. You gotta do it, and you might not do it like, I don't know, 100%. You can do like 50, 70. Sometimes you do 120. It kind of fluctuates, but doing it every day, I think it's an important concept, and I'm trying to do it. Trying to do it. Hanging on still. I think I will. I don't know. We'll see.
I think everyone supports what you're doing, loves it, so definitely keep it up.
Okay.
And then
Thank you.
that
Thank
brings
you,
me,
man.
is there any advice before we get into the crypto voxels? Have you got any advice for artists to attract collectors and how they can do that? Because obviously you've got the history of marketing and sales, and I think people
Right, right, right.
really get some benefit from that.
Yeah. It's a tough question. There are okay. There's um kind of like fundamental thing and cheap hacks. Okay. From a cheap hacks, you can say maybe it's better to do animation. It maybe makes sense to use some, I don't know, things are trending from the news or from the, I don't know, world, politics, life, concepts that are trending at the time. Um, But fundamental things that will not get you, cheap hacks are not going to get you really far. Fundamentally, you have to just, I don't know, find the thing that you enjoy doing. Like, it sounds so cheesy, man, but it's so true. Like, I like this Steve Jobs quote there. He was saying that, you know, people say, like, yeah, you got to love what you do, but like, it's not for the, what do you think? It's what, in once you start doing something, like, there will certainly be tough times. Like, no doubt, there will be like some major downfalls. And if you don't like what you do, or if you don't truly love it, you would just give up. You'll be like, man, you normal? Shit is not going. Why am I doing it if I'm hating it? But if you love it, you will be doing it just for the sake of doing it. And that will keep you going. And if you really enjoy what you do, you, you can get to the heights just no match for you. Like, from others who are trying to do something not for the love. Like, if you're doing it for the love, like, there will be significant improvement because you're going to be doing it a lot. You're going to be doing it every day. You're going to be thinking it. You're going to be living it. And that's the fundamental thing. It's not necessarily has to be art in a way of drawing. It could be any art. Like, I'm doing performance art. Like, this is sort of art. And someone else might doing something other art, like singing, or I don't know, comedy, or I don't know, filming. It's all kind of art, and that's fundamental thing. Cheap hacks can get you maybe somewhere, but fundamentally, it has to be aligned with what you gravitate to, what you truly enjoy doing. And I think that's what gonna get you, like, truly on the longer haul.
And I think as well
That's my idea.
on a metaphysical level, a kind of it's if you do something and you're not being honest with it, the universe has a kind of way of getting you eventually. I don't know if that sounds a bit
Yeah,
odd, but it never, whether it's that you lose passion with it, or whether it's, it
yeah,
just doesn't work because you're not doing it with the honest intention.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good way to put it, man.
So we're
What about
here.
you? Can I ask you
Yeah,
a
yeah,
couple of things?
of course.
Yes. So, what is that new project that you're working on? Like, and what's your role on it?
So
You trying to build a marketplace?
yeah, we've actually been we actually launched in 2018, the same time as Super Rare and Known Origin, and kind of with the first lot. But we had problems with investors we had at the time, so we actually only got a smart contract out, and then
Uh-huh.
we were on OpenSea for a year, and then now we've had a kind of beta site that I put together myself, because I'm not like a super good coder, so I actually built it in WordPress. So it's literally just a portal that then interacts
Mm-hmm.
with the back end of our smart contract. I did build something which made it automatically mint, but that kind of broke, so I manually mint pretty much everything that sells, which is exhausting. But in the last year, we saved up enough money to profit. I keep saying we. We saved up enough profit to build the
Mm-hmm.
Web3. So 2 years after launch, the BAE is finally launching as what it was meant to be. So it's just been a hell of a journey.
Wow.
Because I didn't want to, I could have just given up after losing the investment, but I didn't want to. I didn't want. I knew that this was going to be a big thing, and I've worked in art for like the last 10 years, and what I've noticed is, artists being left behind, people who really are passionate about it, not getting ahead when they really should. And I saw crypto and crypto art as a way that people could really do that, and I wanted to build a platform where that can happen. I mean, there's a lot of other choices now too, but I just
Mm-hmm.
wanted to build a place where people's lives can be made better, and artists can get more money out of what they do, because I think that and more exposure, which is what crypto art does, all those things. But yeah, that's what the project is. It's just the slowest developed project in crypto art, basically.
You'll be surprised. I mean, yeah, yeah, maybe even crypto art,
Yeah.
because these projects like Super Rare, Maker's Place, No Origin, they have um, Nifty Gateway. They have like venture capital funding,
Yeah.
which I guess you did have too. Uh, but yeah, I mean, it just shows. You see, you're passionate. You're just sticking. You're sticking around.
We
Just
had
you
a
keep pushing it.
we had a seed fund, and then because it wasn't, I think we used CryptoKitties maybe a bit too much in our proposal. So as soon as there wasn't an instant success like that, they lost interest. But I stuck around because I wanted
Mhm.
to see this thing through.
Yeah, yeah. So is it your first technical project?
First technical project, yeah. Before this, I was an art curator and manager for 10 years for normal traditional artists. So I did hosted exhibitions. I've hosted 15 in London, 2 in Tokyo, and then
Wow.
yeah, I've always been into crypto, so I was just like this. There has to be a way, and even with Bitcoin, I was thinking of a way you could track art, but I don't think that ever. I feel like a lot of companies did die and are going to continue to die on the hill of tracking physical art because I don't think it's. I don't know. The supply chain thing of blockchain is hard.
I don't really even think it's a use case.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, man, it's tough. I'm sure on the next, I mean, on the upcoming bull run, you may pick up investors. I mean, that's a difficult like what I've learned that all large projects are done in teams. Like
yeah,
you can you can be like a really good hacker, but there's no match to a team. And projects like marketplaces, the thing you're trying to put together is a kind of like a teamwork. And yeah, it's tough. But the fact that you're trying, it's good. I'm sure we'll get you somewhere. Um, Try to be open. Have you tried recruiting,
Yeah,
like
so I
recruiting
hope
like
that's. I hope you can hear me a
co-founders?
bit better now. I'm kind of holding the. I got a new mic, but it kind of sucks. But there's someone in the comments. But yeah, I've found a dev who's really good. I have some
Hmm.
people who I kind of work with semi, so I'm basically rebuilding. I'm not very good at quitting, so I didn't want to quit on what I was doing. um, so I thought, okay, I'll just weather the
It's a
storm,
good thing.
build it up on its own, and then I'll find a team again when it's kind of ready to go, and that's what I'm kind of trying to do at the moment.
Yeah, yeah,
Can't wait.
it's a tough, yeah. It's recruiting basically. If you were the CEO, most of the time you mostly spend is actually recruiting and just trusting like your team, kind of like getting feedback and maybe looking for investors. It's mostly between like um, looking for investors, looking for users, um, and recruiting. Those are three things.
Yeah.
Certainly not building.
No, you see, yeah, that
Uh,
I've been building customer support, technical support, onboarding artists. Like it's hard to spin all those plates at the same time. I'm looking forward to the Web3
it's
version.
impossible.
Yeah, and also manually minting every single token that sells, which is
Yeah,
so
it's tough, man.
it's been tough, but we're at, I feel like there's a light at the end of the tunnel. We've got to the Web3 build, and that's gonna at least automate away a hell of a lot of the stuff that I'm currently doing with the WordPress front end.
All right, man. Good luck. It's tough. It's tough, but I'm sure once you find with this uh, interest to crypto art, if you would look around, I mean, I'm sure you'll be able to find investors, and once you do, um, yeah, try not to sell too much stake.
Yeah, well, no,
Yes,
I'm
sir.
in the lucky position of owning 100% of the VA still, so that's, I guess, a pretty good position to be in.
I mean, yeah, you may also try to accelerators.
Hmm.
You may have some. accelerators. I don't know in UK. I'm sure
Oh, I'm
they can
based in
get you some.
Tokyo now. That's why it's so early for me.
Oh, it's in Tokyo. Oh,
Yeah.
especially in Tokyo, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure. Tokyo is good on crypto. You in Tokyo?
Yeah, I moved here. I
Oh
moved here just
man.
before the virus hit, so I kind of got lucky.
Wow, man. That's sick.
Yeah,
Tokyo, man.
I wanted to show a crypto art show here next year during the Olympics. That's the plan. I'm actually talking. I don't know if I should talk about it too much, but I'm actually talking with the Rary guys about doing it, with BAE and Rary, crypto art show in somewhere in Tokyo.
Hmm. Yeah, man. That's amazing. Huh. Tokyo. Wow. Japan.
Yeah, it's cool.
I
Have you
mean,
been?
I heard it. I know I haven't. I've been to Hong Kong only. This is the only Asia I've been to. But man, I heard Japan is really nice.
It is.
Weather is great, super safe, fun to live, tons of great food. Um, I heard just apartments are kind of tiny.
Yeah, totally. Oh, sorry, I'm getting noise from cryptovoxels playing. So I've actually got the cryptovoxels open now.
Okay, yeah.
What is that? So, mute, there we go. So yeah, I've got the cryptovoxels open now. We're in, I think it's Robness's or the Whale Shark, Whale Shark Pro one.
Yeah.
You sent me
So
this link. What's the deal with this?
yeah, this was the first. Okay, whale, sh whale shark. Well, you know the story of trash art, right? So
Yeah.
this is a Rob Ness's kind of parcel. Have you been to cryptovoxels in general? Like, have
Yeah,
you?
we've got a I think we've got one of the I bought a space back in 2018 for the BAE.
Oh, all right, awesome, awesome. So yeah, this is I think a Ganyam neighborhood. One of my what I like about I mean virtual cities is just like you can put like landmarks there, and it's kind of art pieces that you can just walk in. If you don't, do you mind opening Voxy Towers
Oh yeah.
by a lot of money?
Hold on, give me a second. Okay, I'm probably my sound might go a bit weird because I'm gonna clip this to myself again. Still getting used to this. I went out to get a mic. I thought like, oh, I'll support my local economy, and went to find one of those kind of USB mics. Massive store, and all they had were these ones and karaoke mics, as typical. Uh,
Yeah, Carrot, for sure.
Let me go to Twitter. Get that open. Oh wait, what am I doing? I have it open right here. Okay. I am at Faulty Towers, or the Voxy Towers now. Wow, that is a lot of stuff.
It's a lot of GPU.
Yeah. And no, it's fine. I think it's running it all right.
So, a lot of money. He's an artist from France. He is the one who is building Volti Towers, and he's really good at building. Really, I mean, fascinating. He is one of the pioneers and who really made these neighborhood Ganyam trendy by putting those very I don't know, surreal kind of like a builds, which are art on its own, I find, because like the walls of this Faulty Towers are representing just kind of like some wacky concepts. If you were to think of it, it's just like some strange things, and it's hard to kind of like see it on there. Um, it's just the art pieces there on its own, which I admire for the fact that you can just
I've never been here
see
before.
little details of them.
All of the kind of the shop fronts that he's made. This must have taken forever.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I can't even believe how much work is in there, man. I don't know how to put it together. My build sucks.
Yeah. I was thinking my BAE build really, really sucks in comparison to this.
This is like, oh my God.
Yeah, I'm gonna go
So,
in through the. Wow, I'm blown away. I'm trying to make sure I kind of focus on each individual bit for a little bit, so people can get a grasp of what it is.
yeah, so this parcel is owned by Basilius, I believe. Um, he's trying to rent those floors, but they're kind of tiny. I don't know.
How do I
This
go?
kind of concept of cryptovoxels renting is quite still in development. I wasn't able to crack it. I bought my lot in Frankfurt. I tried to rent it out. No one was, no one was renting it. So I just like, whatever. I'll put some art there. Um, and now I'm getting donations. I'm putting them into the yeah, man. I can't think like how this is not art, man. This is crazy.
Oh my god!
This is
Look,
sick stuff. And I also like how trippy it is. It's not like cartoony. Um, it's I like the weirdness of it. I don't know. That's why I like Cryptovoxels about that. It's so kind of out of whack, black and white, just straight up weird. That's how I feel art is kept. Like the weirder the art is, the better. I don't know, in my sense, in my
yeah,
understanding. I like art that is funny, weird. Uh, yeah, those are my two criteria: funny or weird.
I saw
The
that
weirder, the better.
by your kind of wow. This is sorry. I'm kind of blown away by the complexity of this build. I mean, anyone who's been in voxels before probably
Yeah,
knows about this, but yeah, it's something pretty special.
it's in, it's intense, man.
Yeah.
So this is why um, Philip, a lot of money. He just loves building things like that. So when you love doing it, that's what it produces. I'm sure he's just like, man, he just can't wait to build more stuff like that, man.
Yeah.
And it comes out really good. So yeah, he's one of my favorite artists.
So yeah, sorry. Getting back to so what is your favorite sort of artwork? As you were saying, it's got to be funny. Is that like kind of something that what do you mean exactly by that?
Uh, I mean, I like humor, and I don't think I have a specific. Okay, speaking of like, let's say a lot of money, he has works on earlier, I guess, maybe 6 months or a year old, maybe even 2 years old that are mostly on rare, on
Super
super
rare.
rare,
Yeah.
where he's taking like classic pieces and makes them like makes them animate first, and then the animation is kind of like wacky, like this build. He likes putting like drugs in his art, which I really kind of enjoy. Like he may have some classical painting from, I don't know, 17th century or even earlier, and and now they have like some trippy eyes, smoking joints, and shooting cocaine or something, that kind of stuff. So he he is able to add that wacky contrast, to classical pieces, and also plus animation.
Yeah. And you
That,
said
that that's
you kind of said animation is like a it could be considered a cheap trick to add it earlier on. Do you think that
I don't.
Do you
Mhm.
think that it's always is, or do you think that it's kind of like? Do you think there's still going to be a place for static artwork in the future with the move? Because even artists who do static artwork, once they start to animate it, I've noticed the animated versions might sell for a little bit more, or the animated new artwork will sell for a little bit more. Do you think that crypto art is going to create a kind of atmosphere where everyone moves towards animation?
It's hard to say that, I shouldn't. It's one of the innovations of, I guess, digital art, that it allows an animation, and it doesn't have to. Certainly, you can express ID in static image. I find just animations a little bit more dynamic. It's kind of a little bit more fun to see, and you can express maybe a little bit more with animation. So I find it's catchy, and to me it does. I do like it. I'm not gonna lie, and digital art is kind of allowing you to do animation, and why not use it as a new tool that is became available in putting into art, because you can't really do that in paintings or like photography or traditional art, I guess, right? It's not animated.
You have to build custom hardware, which is super expensive. Like only artists like Bill Viola, who sell for hundreds of thousands. They can do it because obviously they can afford to build an entire rig and a box and everything.
True, yeah. I traveled with my wife, who went to in modern art museum in like in France, and I saw a lot of art, a lot of pieces that had like a battery in it, some mechanical like stuff that is moving. So I see there is a movement and a desire in artists to introduce some movement into their pieces. It's just becomes so much easier with digital movement.
Yeah.
So I see it as a need, like artists were gravitating to it. They already try to hack like putting some mechanical movements in digital. It just becomes a lot more natural in that sense. So I think it is one of the great kind of extra tools that they can use.
Do you Okay, no, I think it's. Is there anything that you want to add? Is there anything you want to plug? And then while Serge is doing that, has anyone got any questions that they want to put in the chat? And we'll get to those.
No, actually, I think I'm good. I enjoyed the conversation, man. I hope you'll do well with your project. I think for you, man, I hope the investment would certainly help. Even the smaller one, maybe like I don't know, 200,000.
Yeah.
I think I can you can go like a long way, even for a seed. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the kind of goal. At the moment, self-funding it, and thanks to projects like Rarible and Uniswap, I've managed. Money's been conjured out of almost nowhere, which has been nice. Definitely been helpful. I gotta check the uni after this actually. Actually, that's a question I had. What do you think with the Uniswap token? Do you think people should hold it, or do you think you should sell it immediately?
Oh, man.
I mean, no financial advice, just your thoughts.
Yeah. Tough, man. I actually don't know. I haven't even claimed mine. It's governance token. I'm actually fascinated how governance token has so much value. Like, it's actually kind of ironic and hilarious, because you know why? If you're a product builder, and if you're really having a product, like there's significant time in the life of a product is where founders describe it as they lose the control of a product. It's actually a milestone of a product, of a life of a company, where it signifies product market fit, where you lose control of your product and your users are now controlling your product. Now, government token is something that the governance of the product belongs to users in the first place. How genius it is to sell that thing to them, that something already belongs to them in the first place. I mean,
yeah,
crazy.
I think it's crazy the value some of them have got. Like, I always say wrong, but the Wi-Fi one is the most ridiculous one out there. What was it, from 0 to 17k each or something crazy?
I don't know. Yeah, so I don't know about Uniswap token. I think the Uniswap is a great project. I mean, I honestly think it's a very significant innovation, because before that it was exchanges, like where you have to do like customer verification, KYC. People can shut down your account. In here, Uniswap, no, like you don't have to open accounts, whatever, come in, do your swap and get out.
Yeah.
How elegant is that? Fantastic, man. Pairs, you can create pairs, your own pairs. You don't have to ask anyone, just start funding it, that's it. Boom.
So
You're in the business.
what I've always wondered about them is how do are they just registered somewhere offshore or something? How do they get away with the fact that they're not, KYCing anyone?
They're getting away because they're saying that they're open source.
Okay. So
I don't
yeah.
I don't know how they structured it, but I assume is the company who is actually hosting the website is not the company who is making the open source code, because that would be a mistake.
Okay.
Open source, man, it doesn't belong to me. You want to do it, like that's what sushi is.
And Moonswap, are they just the Uniswap ripoffs essentially?
Take the code base, give it a different name, deploy it, and boom, you have your own sushi, or you have your own Uniswap with different name.
Yeah.
Just tweak like one parameter, and you're in the business.
Well, that's really interesting. That might be a good way to launch what we're doing. Anyway.
Here you go, man.
Okay, it's been really great. No one's thrown any questions, so we're probably just going to end it there. Thank you all for watching so much, and we'll see you next time. I will sort out my microphone, by the way. This was like a temporary fix. See you all